No, I'll be responsible enough.
If I see a little pool yellow at the bottom, I know what happened. So we are live. I'm here with Will. Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm
Oh,
antisocial. That means I don't have a social life. So this is a real treat for me to get to talk to a real person. Besides my
oh,
family.
okay. Hold on now. I'm ignoring you because I'm busy with administrative details I should have taken care of earlier. Your name is not Marcy. Your name is Will. What's
Yeah, it's
what's your
not
last
Mark.
name?
Lawson. Lawson.
Okay, because I had the last guest from last night, Marcy's name
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, I
thing.
follow her. I follow her on Twitter. That's how I saw you. I was like, oh sweet, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, you can.
And then I shot you a message. I was like, hey, can I do it too?
Yeah, at 4 in the morning.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry. I
all
just
right.
want to get in there.
You're
I'm
an
desperate.
early riser.
Well, I drip desperation, so I can be an early riser.
I like your face. You remind me a little bit, don't take this the wrong way. You remind me a little bit of Freddie Mercury. I think he's a good looking guy.
Well, thank you.
You
Thank you.
got,
I don't know who that is, but thank you.
well, he happens to be the lead singer of Queen. I don't approve of his lifestyle and everything. He's
Oh,
dead.
Freddie Mercury. Oh, the guy.
He died of AIDS, and I'm not saying anything about you. You seem like you're a very manly man. Okay.
Well, if I die of AIDS, I assure you I will keep it a secret.
So, yeah, I've got weird celebrity crushes, like different people in pop culture that I find attractive. Men and women. Don't want to have
That's
sex with them.
good. That's good. That's
It's
why I married a woman that looks like a celebrity, so I would be safe from that.
who is it?
My wife?
Yeah, no, but who does she look like?
Oh, she looks like Miley Kunis is who people say she looks like the
Oh,
most. They're like, you look like Miley Kunis
okay. She's
from
that
that 70s
actress with the
show.
dark hair.
Yeah, that Ukrainian American actress. My wife is from Iran,
Oh,
actually.
wow.
You know, so
Wow,
I met
nice.
I met her back when I was living in Arkansas. As you can see my bio, I'm living in Florida
Okay.
right now. So
Your
and
accent is
we're living in the
southern.
same. Say what?
You got a southern accent.
I was I grew up in the South. I've actually never been up north. Well, I lived in North Carolina for a bit. That's about as north as I got. But if you look on a map, that's in the South.
I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, so way up north as far as
Never heard of that. Do you guys have nighttime there? I'm just asking.
well,
I,
I don't know. I would need to poke my head
well,
out of the igloo to take a look and see.
you had two options. You had appointments at 4 in the morning and appointments at 6 at night. So I'm like, maybe they don't have nighttime up there.
Yeah, well, no, because I had a guest. I had a couple of guests over in South Africa and Greece.
Right.
The
Yeah, you
South,
explain.
yeah. So I explained that. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it's nice to meet you. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 41. I turned 41 November 5th.
Okay, and
So
you're married. And so before we get into today and how you're feeling today, let's go back to the your
yeah.
childhood and how you were raised and all that sort of thing. I don't know much about you.
Oh,
Obviously, we just met, but I think you might be Baptist today or something like that. But you'll build up the whole
yeah.
story from the beginning till now and take us on the
Oh,
journey from your
I had
childhood till
no
today.
idea I would have to build a story for you. See, I can get creative now.
Just be
I
honest.
mean,
Just be
especially when I
honest.
started talking about my childhood, should I get a doll out or anything? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I had good good parents. They had a lot of kids. I was
Okay.
the oldest. Yeah, I was the oldest of six. So life started going downhill after about number three for me. It started going downhill. Now for them, I don't know how they perceived it. It seems like they're all doing okay. I got one who's a criminal. Well, he was a criminal. He's not a criminal anymore. He used to be a criminal. So, but we love him. We accept him because, I mean, really, we're all criminals except for me. I'm a criminal.
You're the only Christian one.
No, I'm just joking. That's just a little family humor. No, my whole family says they believe in Jesus. So I was raised in church. I was raised in Baptist churches. My grandfather, who's still alive, I have one grandfather that passed on my dad's side. My grandfather that's still alive, he is an independent Baptist preacher up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Mission Boulevard Baptist Church. And they've been going for years. They started out in the 70s, I think. 60s or 70s. They started out, and they have a Christian school up there. He just living off the blessings. That's what they're doing. My grandma passed a couple years ago, so he's been alone doing that, but he's still preaching. So I don't get to talk to him very much, but I hung out with that side of the family a lot when I was a kid. All of us cousins, we just had a good time. And cousins were about the same age, and they had a lot of kids too. So I have an aunt that is literally a year or two older than me.
Ah.
Yeah, I used to play with her like if she was my cousin. That's what happens when you have a big family. It kind of overlaps like that.
So you mentioned Independent Baptist. What are the different brands or the different types of Baptist? You got Southern Baptist.
I think it's just
First Baptist, Second Baptist. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it's associative, especially when all the Baptists came to America. They started mixing and mingling Protestant theologies, Catholic theologies, and they just kind of picked and choose what they wanted. A whole ecclesiology can form from that. They find a construct maybe that they like, and they'll just go with. You've heard of like Reformed Baptists. They'll be proponents of Calvinism, or Free Will Baptists might be a proponent of Arminianism. So really just what happens when you're just exposed to so much information, you stop just reading the text for yourself. And you're like, well, these guys seem to have it figured out. I'm just going to unknowingly form a knowledge gap and just go with what they're saying. And whoever these guys were, they probably didn't anticipate a bunch of Baptists following them.
Yeah. So you had, we've sort of glossed over your childhood a little bit, but that's okay. What about your education? Was there a specific bias that your professors had, or did you choose a path that was more this flavor or that flavor, or how did that work with your education?
Oh, my education.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm a little bit here and there as far as education goes. I have a degree in cyber network defense, cybersecurity. That's what I do.
Okay.
That's where I bring in the money. That's how I make a living for the family. My wife's in the service. She's in the Air Force. I'm in the Air Force Reserve. So before I met her, I was in the Army.
Hello? Are you still there? Are you pausing dramatically, or are you on a bathroom break, or are you having technical issues? I can't hear you and your screen is frozen. Will, if you can see me, blink. Blink if you can see me. Here, let me see if I can chat to you. Can you hear me? Question mark. Experiencing some technical difficulties. Please stand by. He's not responding. Oh, there you are. Are you back?
Am I back? Okay. I'm back.
Bugged out.
Yeah, it said I lost network connection. It's still churning. There you are. I see you now.
Okay. Yeah, so you do the whole cyber, what do you call it?
Yeah, cyber network defense. So
Okay.
I'm an analyst for Air Force Special Operation Command and Navy Special Operation Command. So
Wow.
I can tell you basically what my job is, but
No, I'm not interested so much in that as your seminary. Didn't you say you went to Baptist seminary?
I did. So I graduated high school, and I said I want to go into the ministry is what I said, and I was part of I was a missionary Baptist, and we have a great seminary in Little Rock, and it's free for anyone who is ABA associated, American Baptist Association.
Okay.
And so they sent me there as soon as I graduated. About a year after I graduated, they sent me there. I went there for a few years, and that's where I really got studied up on my Greek.
Biblical Greek though.
Koine biblical Greek.
Because my wife is Greek, so I learned modern Greek a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool language.
Well,
very cool.
It
language.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know how closely it related with the ancient tongue or not.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say with the pronunciation, but I can read both pretty well. It's just a question of the accents. There are a lot more alliterations or whatever they call those things.
You're talking about speaking it. So yeah, from a technical standpoint, when you're looking at the Greek, all you're doing is looking at the declinations. You're trying to
Yeah.
see what noun points to what verb, and direct objects, indirect objects, and all you're trying to do is figure out what is matching in the language. When you figure out what's matching, then you can look at the tenses and be like, well, where do we go from here, type thing. So that all is a process of translating. And really, if you're a translator, you're doing it for your own benefit. You're studying the languages. You're doing it for your own benefit nowadays. We have so many
Yeah. Okay.
out there. And people are pretty uh, thoroughly educated as much as they need to be to study scripture. So
Pretty amazing. So your emphasis was on the New Testament, Greek, and just that.
yeah, well,
that
I
angle.
didn't continue my education. So my next year I would have stepped into Hebrew. So I
Oh.
have to, yeah, I have to learn Hebrew on my own.
But how
And
many
that
years
Greek,
ago was that you left that?
oh my goodness, I'm 41 now. So that was before I joined the army, and I had a 7 to 8 year career in the army. So, and now it's 2023. So I'm placing that in about 2003 timeframe is when I left and joined the military.
Okay.
So 2002, 2003 timeframe.
So yeah. So I'm assuming. I mean, I'm assuming because you reached out to me that you're pretty interested. You're pretty still pretty interested in your faith and in learning about your faith and in growing in your faith. And
well, absolutely. If you got to take a look at my website, those are just me acting out those things that I've learned, the things that go on through my head. So I'm poetizing them. I'm not an actual poet per se, like the vernacular, but I'm poetizing. I'm working it out for myself. I'm going through the script. I'm writing it out. Just like, anything that you would find interesting doing in life, you're probably going to find yourself creating something that is connected to it. All right.
yeah,
So,
let me take a look. Let me take a look really quickly. How do you spell it?
Oh, TELIEOU.com. And of course, I kind of glanced at your website, so you're familiar with teleology. Now, this website is teleological in the sense that you work backwards. So I work from the basis that I believe Jesus is Messiah, and I just work backwards. So a lot of it, the devotionals, that's just encouragement. That's some good feed if you want to encourage yourself. But the other stuff, like I'm doing a study in Zechariah right now, and I'm updating that about twice a week, and I'm just going through that, just going through the script, explaining it, and it's there if anybody is interested. But like I said, is more of a personal type thing, because I wouldn't recommend anybody reading anything that anybody does except for the script itself. Just go through it yourself, find the joy in it yourself. Talk to your teachers that are interested about it, because not everybody's interested in this kind of stuff. So talk to the ones that are interested in it, and you guys can share the joy, it's a reciprocal joy that you have when you're connecting with somebody on that level.
Okay, so when you say script, you mean the scripture, the Bible, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Script, is that the short way of saying it? Script? Do you hear that a lot? I've never heard that in my whole life.
No.
Script. A script to me is what actors read. Script.
We started something. Hey, no. Well, I've learned just to talk this way.
Okay.
If I say script and we're in the context of the Bible, I'm sure somebody would pick it up. Now, you're right to be confused though, because I have had conversations with people and they've become triggered in ways. And I'm talking about the Bible, guys.
Well, it is kind of a script. I mean, it is kind of a script because God's the primary author and the humans are just sort of playing along.
Well, I tell people, I said,
oops. Oh no, you're frozen again. So we'll have to wait and see if he comes back. I guess I can throw up his website again till he comes back. Let me see. How does this look? Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Psalm 19:14. Correctly opining God through the correct message of Jesus Christ. That's smiley people there. Are you back? He's not back.
There, you back?
Hey,
Man, I'm sorry. I do have
not a
this
problem.
problem, and it
It's
comes
not a
from my
problem.
security settings. My setup is really secure.
Is that right?
So yeah, it tends to kick out if anything looks fishy. I don't telecom a lot, so
Okay.
it does that. It's
I
not used to it.
I just threw up your website. I was just started reading from it while I was waiting because I knew you'd be back.
Yeah. So
But
did
these
you get the
frequent
last?
bathroom breaks have to stop. I'm warning you now.
Well, I brought a load of diapers. So don't worry. I just don't want to put it out there on camera. But did you get did you get the part before we cut out what I tell people about scripture, and we can get we can get past a lot of the moral quandaries that are out there if we view scripture, if we view the Bible as something that was written by God for God to show man the narrative of God. And so where we're at now is we're on the outside, we're looking in, and now we're able to correctly opine God by viewing it that way. And we don't have to take it so personally anymore because that stuff is so heavy and it's so detrimental if you take it the wrong way. We've seen in the past what has happened when people take that stuff too personally.
Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, they try to take over the world.
Hey, don't you insult my Catholic faith. I don't appreciate that.
Hey, you guys learned your lesson. We all learn our lessons. I got some great stories of some Anabaptists that went crazy with their freedom. I can just tell you, I can't remember. I think it was in Amsterdam, and it was around the 1500s, mid 1500s. And these Anabaptists.
Hus?
Say what? Yeah.
Was that Hus? Jan Hus?
Well, it wasn't directly linked to him, but the Anabaptists allowed this Montanists. Do you know what a Montanist is?
Yeah, are you talking about Montanism?
Montanism.
And then there's Ultramontanism, right?
Well, this certainly was Ultramontanism, the way it panned out. So they get all excited. This Montanist comes, he declares Jesus is coming back. And so they lose it. They go crazy. They're like, yes, Jesus is coming back. And so they're discovered having just orgies and getting drunk and causing problems in the city. And the Catholic Inquisition, or whoever was in charge, I don't think it was an Inquisition at the time, but just for lack of a better term, the Catholics came down and they saw how they were disrupting the city so much. And they went and they slaughtered all the Anabaptists for acting that way. And my joke is I don't think that prophet was lying to them. Jesus really did come back for you guys, but it wasn't the way you thought it was going to be.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
And it's self-correcting too. That's one thing that we got to learn in scripture is it gives us the ability to self-correct when we're making mistakes, when we're messing up our lives. And God is not mocked. We're going to reap what we sow, right? And so the script is a self-correcting prophecy. There's nothing new under the sun, right? And how do we believe that? Well, I'm not talking in like a technological way. I don't really care about that, but I'm talking about psychologically. There's nothing new under the sun. There's crazy people back then as there were crazy people nowadays. I mean, there's nothing you're not going to find an example that can't be relatable.
But was there ever a bad orange man?
Yeah,
Really? Anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We won't talk about politics.
No, I don't talk about Donald Trump. The reason I don't is because that right there is for people that like Donald Trump. You talk about him, and then that just amplifies. He has like this amplification on him. If you just mention his name, whether good or bad, it has this amplification. It's like, I'm getting bigger. So if you really just want him to sit down and rest and enjoy his life, don't talk about him anymore. Just let him go. Right. So I
Uh,
don't. I try so hard. I don't talk. He doesn't upset me. He doesn't irk me. But when I saw him get up there after he left his Hollywood life, the Hollywood didn't stay behind him. He was like really like that, and I was
oops. I think the security has kicked in once again. We'll wait and see. I think he'll be back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I wish I had something to entertain you with here. Oh, I could talk about my, oh yeah, I could tell you about this while I'm waiting. This came in the mail the other day. Through the Bible, the complete 5-year series. This is a Protestant work. It's like a commentary on the Bible. All 66 books. So it's not the Catholic version of the Bible. It's not 73 books, it's 66 books. But the reason I got it is because he's really funny. Vernon J. McGee, I think his name is. If I had my magnifying glass, I could actually read the back of this thing. But he's quite entertaining. I'm going to see if my friend comes back. The reason you see me is because you're seeing my Google Meet camera, my second camera, the one that my guest sees. It's a mirror image of my face. Sorry for the technical issues. We're 22 minutes, we're about 21 minutes in. And we've had 3 crap outs so far. Let's see if he comes back. So it says here, through the Bible with Dr. J. Vernon McGee, that's his name. Get on the Bible bus with Dr. McGee and journey through the whole Word of God. This 8 gigabyte flash drive includes audio of the entire 5-year Bible study, notes and outlines for every book of the Bible, their version of it, 100+ booklets to deepen your study. So that's pretty good. I think it cost me like $10. So I'm pretty excited to check it out. His talk that he does on Jezebel in 1 Samuel, I think is it 1 Samuel? Or it's maybe the Book of Kings or the Book of Samuel or Chronicles, I'm not sure. But he talks about Jezebel in very colorful language. It's absolutely hilarious. I heard it on the radio as I was driving around to job sites because I work in construction, as you know. And it was just hilarious. So I said I'm going to get myself a copy of this and listen to the whole thing. So I don't know if my friend's coming back here. Will, where are you, Will? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I want to add lib for the next 40 minutes. So let's see. Send him a little message here. I know what I'll do. I'll go on Twitter.
hello.
Hey, I was just trying to get onto Twitter to message you. I said I would.
Can you believe it?
It's those nasty demons. They don't want you sharing your perspective with me.
Sometimes I think that there's something abnormal going. No, super normal going on. That's what I think.
Paranormal, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So,
just while you were away.
Sure, go ahead.
When you were doing your number 2 or whatever it was you were up to, I did. I did.
Whoa!
I was showing this to the viewers.
I like
are you
it.
able to read that?
It's a bus and it says through the Bible. I'm not sure what it's getting at, but it looks like some sort of keychain. I could really get involved with it.
Dr. J. Vernon McGee, he's like some sort of, I don't know what he is, Calvinist.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I stay away from big names.
Oh, yeah? I don't know what he believes, but he's a Protestant and he's
Okay.
very entertaining. So I got his Bible Bus USB stick, and I'm going to go through and listen to it.
Nice. I always tell people, I say, well, there's only going to be 3 choices in life. This is the people that I know. There's either going to be the Pope. There's going to be 2 choices in life. It's either going to be the Pope, it's going to be Joel Osteen, or it's going to be me. And they're like, who are you? And I'm like, exactly. There's only 2 choices. That's just like I said. Pick your poison.
That's pretty good. So now I'll struggle to remember what you were in the middle of saying. I know it was interesting because I was just like,
Oh, we were talking about Orange Face. All I was saying is I don't mention DT because he's just a magnet for attention. The best way to just, if it's really disturbing to you,
it's not disturbing to me. It's not disturbing to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not disturbing to me either, right? But I've learned in order to not be incendiary towards anyone, I just don't even mention it. You said the Orange Face. Well, of course, that doesn't bother me. I just don't mention him.
Do you know the blackface guy?
I don't know the blackface.
You don't?
I don't know anything except like I said, I'm in my own little world. I'm antisocial, not by choice.
My Canadian friends know who I'm talking about when I say the blackface politician. They know exactly who I'm talking about. I'll send you some memes afterwards, and you'll laugh.
Thank you.
So back to the Bible, back to your religion. I want to sort of, because you're a quirky character. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that before, but you're very quirky.
I get all the time. I just want to make people smile. I want to make people laugh. You've gone through my Twitter feed though, right?
No.
Well, you should have.
Okay.
Well, you see that you liked my Fallout 4 soundtrack.
Yeah.
You can see how I have everything themed out. Like as soon as you followed me, I grabbed you and I said, well, he can be a Vault resident. So maybe maybe you haven't quite caught on what I'm doing on Twitter. I have to make it a game.
Okay.
For myself because it's just so serious. I mean, people are just taking it so serious. So I make a game for myself and nobody ever wants to play games with me. I don't know why. I'm not very good at them. And you can win all the time.
Oh, are you talking about literally gaming, like multiplayer gaming? Or is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the game of life on Twitter?
It's just in my mind, though.
Okay.
It's nobody else. No, actually, I've been playing this game for about 11 years, and it's sort of a meme game. It's a data type game, and you play it with the news. You play it with Hollywood. You play it with just whoever is out there, and that's going to be, seen, right? And so what you do is you post memes, you post music, you post videos, anything that is matching.
Oh no. This is ridiculous. Let's see if it can come back faster this time. I'm not good at filling in these gaps here, but I know he's going to come back. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll show you his Twitter. How's that? Will Larson's Twitter. Can you see it? Oops. I don't want to do that. I want to show you Will Larson's Twitter. Am I allowed to do this? Fallout 4. I do. It is one of my favorite games of all time. People don't like it, but I do like it. I like the music. I like the vibe. What else has he got? He's got some music, Eminem. I like Eminem. In moderation. Linkin Park, never heard the music. Jay-Z, don't know his music. Izzo, don't know her music. April being Wednesday.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Man, I'm probably the worst guest you've ever had.
Worst guest ever. But it's okay because I'm actually showing people your Twitter feed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
okay, yeah.
It's a lot of music. It's a lot of pop culture. It's a lot of pop culture stuff.
Come play with me. Yeah. It's a data game is what it is. And right now I usually am playing with my local NPR station. And so they got stories that they do every day. I mean, their cycle, their radio station. So I play with that radio station. I usually go, I can't do I can, sometimes I can put up a data point that'll just hit like a headline story that'll just hit pop, 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 and pop all those balloons. Sometimes I can. So it's easier for me to pick a station that I want to match up with. And so I pick my local radio stations, and they're the fun. They've been playing with me, like I said, for about 11 years. So, and I just go, they're public news broadcasting. You get your reward by listening to your songs being played, so to say. They'll put up stories for just about anything. And it's educational. You get to know the characters, you get to know the people. So it's a lot of fun. But people don't realize it, and then they start to play, they get discouraged because they're not any good at it. I wasn't good at it either when I started playing. Okay. You just get to know your radio stations, you get to know your news media, you get to know that I played with CVS. I played them for like 2 years. I played with CNN, and I just cycle through them, until I get bored. Sometimes I got stuff I got to take care of. I'll get on there for about 3 days, post some stuff. Bam, it's there. So that's what you're seeing. And I put it in a context. It's an organizational context. I put it in a context of Fallout 4. As you know, they got like an Amazon TV show coming out of Fallout.
No way.
Right? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you ever played the game, if you're a fan, they got that coming out. Yeah. Right. And so this is also an idea mechanism. Different characters can be formed, and you really get out what you put in to it. Okay. Right. So if you're a Vault resident, you can act like a Vault resident. I got a couple of people that are really good at it. They're always talking about like nuclear explosions, radioactivity, science, sci-fi type stuff. And there's some people just being themselves, and I follow a lot of Christians, so they're just, praising Jesus all the time. And I mean, that's fine. No worries. They're still hitting a lot of data points that are out there, surprisingly. So it's just a lot of fun for me. It's a weird thing. Have you ever seen the Google geolocator game?
Yeah. Are you good at that?
No, I'm not, but I want to get good at that. If I started now, it would be like somebody starting the game playing with me.
Okay.
That I've been playing for years.
What's your game called?
I hadn't named it.
Unnamed game?
I guess I would call it Data Point Prodigy or something. I don't know.
Okay. It's about making connections, like
it's about making connections. You ever seen Bubble Bobble or those little Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Games, yeah. So you're on there, you're making the matches, and then poof, they disappear.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like that. Or a card game, right? I got these cards, I can flip them out. Do I meet or do I match your story? Type thing.
But right. Who's the judge? Like, are you the Pope of this world? Like, you get to decide if it's a good match or not?
That's the illusion of it. It's like you're a winner if you think you're a winner. Like, you might get one story out of the whole day.
Okay.
But, it's like, that felt good listening to that one story, and then they were listening to me, and they're putting it up for me, right? So it's a non-interference type game as well. Like, you don't mess with their life, they don't mess with you, but they're just playing alongside you. They're like, okay, you're listening to us. It's public radio, public news. You own the station.
You might enjoy the game that I sometimes play. It's a very dangerous game, though, if you're mentally ill, like I might be.
Are you reflecting on me?
I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge. I don't know where you are on the spectrum. But the game that I play,
I haven't made my spectrum yet.
The game that I play is I pretend that everyone's an actor in my reality show, like Truman Show.
I've been there.
That's a lot of fun. That puts a smile on your face every time. I mean,
that is good. Yeah.
That is.
Thank you for that.
But I can
see. We all have our little quirks. We all have our little things. Like, I see these people, these Twitter accounts. They got like little crowns and stuff next to their name. Okay. I'm like, oh, you are the princess. You are the king. Congratulations. Here's your castle.
So you'll feed into anyone's fantasy. It doesn't matter if it's a dark fantasy, or will you try to sort of stifle or redirect negative energy?
As long as they're having fun. Now, I won't go out there and interfere with people's lives and their marriages and anything like that. That's sick and wrong, because there's people that actually go out there and play with your life.
Yeah.
Play with your livelihood, harass you.
Yeah.
So I don't need to actually talk to you, so to say. you know, I can see your data points, and then I can be like, well, that's a good data point. Let me put something up here. I'm not actually talking to you, but if you got the perception, you know that I'm talking to you.
Well, I mean, one of my friends, whom I've never met in real life, but he does exist. I believe he does exist. He lives in Australia. He's my best friend.
He's my best friend too. He's my best friend too.
Suddenly, yeah. But anyway, he said that he was shocked and horrified. He's been hounding me for a while now about just how dark my timeline is on Twitter, because I just keep posting stuff about not Pierre Trudeau, but Justin Trudeau,
Oh, Jessica, yeah.
he's the blackface guy. So I spoiled it for you.
Oh, okay, okay.
I spoiled it.
Yeah, I just learned that Canada is their own nation, so I just thought it was just. I didn't know what you guys are doing. I've heard of it though.
So anyway, I got a lot of I repost a lot of dark memes about our great leader Justin Trudeau. So
Nice.
they're pretty nasty. Like they're not nice. Like they're making fun of him, and it's easy to do. And I feel bad, but it's just fun. You know, it's just fun. I enjoy it.
You know, it's all about teaching lessons. It's like, you can't see me, you'll probably never meet me in my life, but guess what? I'm about to teach you a lesson with this meme. Boom, in your face. I feel so much better.
I just find it funny, like the sense of humor that some of these right-wing people have. Like, I mean, I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that there's so many conservatives on Twitter. Like, that was really eye-opening for me, because the whole world is so left-wing.
Where do you go when nobody wants to listen to you? You can't. There's no. I mean, God help us all if they really do act like that in real life. If I met one of these people in real life and they started tweeting at me like that, I'm like, I'm sorry, I really do got to go to the bathroom now. I'll be in there until you're not anywhere around.
Yeah,
I know it's funny. It is so funny if you can get past how sad it is. I'm telling you. People just need to realize, I think, that they're not the center of anything. I mean, we can't even center ourselves. We can't justify ourselves. We don't even balance ourselves. We can't even sleep good enough to wake up to get to work on time every day. So, I mean, just calm ourselves, get back to reality, and everything will be fine.
Very cool. Very good advice. So, what about trolling? Is that a real thing? Is that fun, or is that dark, trolling?
Oh, I don't troll. I don't pick on anybody. I see the results of it. I've been trolled a few times, and I know immediately what to do. No, you know, I find this odd too. Like, I don't think anybody knows what I'm talking about or what I'm doing, and so I have 300 something followers. I get like no feedback from anything, and so I'm like, well,
Oh, I guess we'll go back to his feed. This is a very disjointed conversation, but where was I now? Does this work? Sorry for the disjointed presentation. It is what it is. Will Lawson. See if I can notice the pattern. This is from Fallout 4. Lots of Fallout stuff. Nurse scene from the comedy, Tim Heidecker. No idea what that is. Whistle. I just realized now he was having a laugh at my expense when he booked the 4 a.m. his time slot this morning. I couldn't make it because my wife was sick last night, unfortunately. but I just realized
I'm
now.
back. I'm so sorry. Again,
Hey,
you
how
know,
you?
you are the true definition of forgiveness. I mean, how many times do I got to keep leaving you hanging and then you forgive me
But
and
you
let us
didn't
come
hear what I was saying behind your back. Play it
back?
back. Play it
Are you
back.
doing this on purpose? You're kicking me out and be like, hey, listen, this guy's he's stupid.
Yeah. It's my
Are you
game.
sure?
It's my game. You don't get it. You don't get it. It's like,
I'm so sorry.
now that I know how silly you are, I just realized that you were having fun when you booked the 4 a.m. slot this morning. You were loving that.
Well, I said to myself, I said, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it with him because he's put himself through some bad days if he keeps going at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
I'm going
shit.
to be right there with you.
We could do it. We could do a morning show.
Yeah, well,
Dave and Will in the morning.
that would be awesome. I mean, I would love to do that. I would do more of this if I just had the time. You know how it is. You got babies?
You don't need sleep. No, I don't have any babies. No. You
You
have
don't
I
have
heard
babies? Okay.
one I heard one crying in the background. You have more than one?
Well, I got a baby here, and I got another baby that lives in North Carolina. She's going to be 16
Oh.
on the 12th. So yeah,
Oh.
she's growing up, and then this baby over here just turned 1 years old.
Ah, okay.
So I'm from a 16-year gap of raising a baby. It's
What's
taking
it?
a toll on my
Wow,
old
yeah.
age. It's taking a toll. I didn't
Yeah.
remember it being this hard. But I tell you what, I work 10 to 12 hours, about 4 days out of the week. And I come back, I got my productions that I do. So I do my teaching lessons. I'm going through the book of John. I just finished up with the book of Galatians. So that's all out there. That's all a PowerPoint. The book of John's still going on. So I'm doing that. I'll have, and then I do some writings that I post on my website. And that's about all the time that I have for anything. But if we made a schedule, to chit chat and, be like this, then I could do that maybe once or twice a month.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't
What
mind doing
about
it.
weekends?
Well, okay, so my weekends rotate. I'm on Panama schedule, so we got a team and we rotate. So sometimes I'll have 3-day weekends. Sometimes right now I'm just not on the weekends
Okay.
at all. Like I told you, my days off are from Tuesday through Thursday, and then I start back in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I work all 4 of those. So I haven't even gotten to preach ever since this news schedule has been going on. So, I mean,
Oh,
not that I have to preach.
yeah.
And as a Baptist, you don't have to have somebody designated to preach. And you got pastors that don't even preach. They just are there shepherding, making sure people's is taken care of, protected, their needs are met, stuff like that. So you don't have
Did
to have one designated person.
are you able to work from home or you have to go to some sort of office or something?
Oh, with my AOR, my area of responsibility is very closed off. I can't even bring my cell phone. And so it's very closed, very secret. This is a top secret
Oh.
position. Yeah. So I'm working with stuff that's so close, and I'm taking care of stuff that if something went down, you wouldn't feel a thing. That's all I'm saying. Taking care way up in the background.
Wow. So it's like a vault. It's like that's why
It
you
is a
like
vault.
Fallout.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
think
you
that's
like
actually
Fallout.
what is. Yeah, we got some places in there called vaults.
Oh. I saw you changed from 101 to some other number on the vault. Is there a
Well,
meaning
it's
behind it?
vault 111. I'm
111?
not.
And you
Yeah, it's vault
changed
one
it
one
to
one. I'm not an artist.
yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll take this picture off the internet. Nobody will know. And then I got inside my Windows art.
Oops. He's gone again. My new co-host is gone. How can I get this to show up? This is a really scattered episode. My apologies. Will Lawson. There you can see the 111 on the vault. That's a painting inspired by Fallout. And he's replaced it with 919, so we're going to ask him about that. So this TSGFOMT919, I'm not sure what that means. The Cyber Network Defense Analyst for AF, Air Force SOC, whatever that is, and Navy SOC. Interesting. He's quite a guy. I've never met anyone quite like Will Lawson. That's for sure. I should go through just for fun and comment on his stuff because he said he doesn't get. Love this, dude. I'm just going to write random stuff. I'm going to comment on everything. This will be my new hobby. Till I collapse. What is that? What am I commenting on? I don't even know what I'm commenting on.
Hello, hello.
Hey, you're back.
I'm so sorry about that. See,
I was just getting into your commenting on your stuff, some of the stuff on your.
Yes. Okay. So 919 is my unit that I drill with for the Air Force Reserve.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not full-time military anymore. I'm contracted to take care of the military as far as their cyber stuff. But on my reserve side, I'm a medic. I'm a flight operational medical technician. So I've been a medic ever since I was in the Army. That was my job. So I was a combat medic, transitioned over, became a medical tech for the Air Force, went to FOMT school, became a flight operation medical technician. So my duty responsibility is there to make sure pilots can stay up in the air, fly their planes, and if there's a crash, then I go and do what I'm supposed to do there. So,
wow.
But yeah, that's why that's there. So I do that so people can see, hey, he's a legit person. He's real, because only real people would put this stuff up there. But they're not like me and look at people's stuff and then go and do research and all creepy. And it's like, okay, now I know who you are. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Do you have buddies that are on Twitter that you also know in real life?
I try to get my buddies on Twitter. Everybody thinks it's stupid because, I mean, it is. But hey, you're my buddy now. So.
There you go. Yeah. So it's a strange world. It really is a strange world in 2022. I was born in 70, so I'm 52. So
52. You look 52. So young.
Thank you very much. So. Because I didn't have any children and just generally irresponsible. But
you probably live a low stress life. That's how I maintain my.
Yeah, you look good.
Bigger. Look good. I had to grow this mustache so people would actually let me buy tobacco. It's getting so old.
That's ridiculous. So what was I telling you? Oh yeah, back in the good old days. I'm talking about the good old days. Like, I don't want to sound like an old fart here, but like, I mean, in the 80s and the 90s, I didn't enjoy the 80s because I was a teenager, but in the 90s, you know, I left home and I was having fun and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And the amount of freedom we had, and we weren't, you know, chained to technology the way we are today. Even though I got my first computer, my dad got me a computer in the early 80s, so I've been, you know, I've been dealing with computers for a long time, but you weren't chained to it the way we are now.
You didn't have to be. I mean, I want to get rid of it, but then I was like, well, what about my emails? What about my maps? I mean, if I just had a map, then I could get rid of my cell phone.
Right.
I don't want to pull out paper maps anymore because I've been so accustomed to
we're spoiled.
The robot telling me where to go.
We're spoiled. We're completely helpless. When's the last time you actually felt lost? You know that feeling when you kind of panic just a tiny bit when you feel lost? Yeah. When's the last time you felt that?
Well, probably when I had my first midlife crisis. I call it a midlife crisis. It was after I got out of the military is when it happened. And I was a medic. I thought I knew the signs and symptoms, right? I wasn't the best medic, but I feel like I was getting there. And so I get out of the military and I'm losing it, right? And my wife was saying I was losing it and I'm hurting her feelings all the time. And And I get addicted to alcohol, or alcohol gets addicted to me, one or the other. It was mutual, I think so. But it was just a downward spiral, and I just felt like I was losing my mind. My daughter is in there.
I thought that
So.
was a squirrel.
Hey, you best go now. I got I got my mother-in-law. She lives with us, and I got my wife. So they're in there, and me and my wife were just talking about this. Is like we're literally will sing her Coco Melon song. Coco Melon's a popular children's TV show, and all they do is sing. They sing everything, every detail of their life. They sing. So we're in there. Grandma doesn't even speak English. Grandma's singing Coco Melon songs. My wife is singing Coco Melon songs. Just we don't even realize we're singing Coco Melon songs. I said she's the sun and we're her planets, and my wife was like, I think so. So
Wow.
anyway, yeah,
Trippy.
what we're talking about my midlife crisis. Okay, so hopefully I don't have another midlife crisis. But anyway, when that happened, just everything in my life just it was a total influx. Right, I had family dramas. That's naturally what will happen if you're on alcohol and you're mean to people. You'll have family problems. I couldn't deal with them, and I was incompetent and incapable and sick and all the above, but I didn't know. I did all this healing for about 5 years. All right, I moved states. I drove a truck, going to school at the same time, come back. I had a divorce. So I mean, it was just a bad dark time. But that darkness probably lifted in about 2017. So that was about 8 years that I went through just the total disparity. I even went around trolling with the atheists. I was walking around with them with their ideologies and their big bad bully behavior. So it wasn't good, and I was glad I got out of it. Fortunately, I was able to keep my head. I was able to stay in school. I was able to do what I needed to do, and I didn't go into total self-destruction.
Mm.
In fact, I came out learning what all that was. What is that outer darkness? Well, I was there. Right? There was weeping and gnashing of teeth. What is it like to have hell on earth? Well, you bring it on yourself, and it will just keep compiling itself because you don't know how to get out. So it's like a pit of desperation. You just can't. There's nothing you can do about it. You think you know, but you don't know. You're just blind to everything. There's darkness. You're just blind to everything. You don't know top from bottom.
Scary, heavy stuff.
It is.
My mother is suicidally depressed, has been for my whole life, and two of her sisters have successfully killed themselves, and so it's some dark stuff in my family,
Yeah.
and it's all around. It's all around in different families. It's not often talked about, but people are starting to talk about mental health a lot more now. But what traumatized you in your experience that you think made you implode a bit?
What traumatized me is there was just no understanding. I didn't have understanding, and the people that I trusted the most didn't have understanding. So that just made it even worse. And I would lash out because I didn't have understanding. They would lash out because they have understanding. So you got this sick guy puking on everybody, and he can't control himself. So that's me. And then I got the people I'm puking on, and they're just offended that I'm puking on them. And they're saying, lock him up or put a bag over his head, just get him out of here. We don't want to talk to him. We don't want to, face what he's going through. So it was just a combination of both. There was just no one I could go to. That's what made it worse. Just no one I go to. Just.
But how, I mean, is that problem gone? It's resolved, or it's buried, or what? Like the communication problem, is it fixed or what?
I don't think I have any problems anymore. My life seems to be a pretty good road. My wife's very well pleased with me. I spend lots of good time with my baby. I just focus on reality now. Reality being my wife, taking care of family, pastoring Baptist Family Fellowship, and just make sure everybody's having a good time. If I see any signs of dramas that might occur, Well, I just remind myself that this isn't a Jerry Springer show in this house, and we're not going to allow ourselves to become that. So it's just outside. You have to place that outside of any scope of reality that you would deal with ever. It's like, well, we are just going to be Baptist Family Fellowship, and everything else is just a non-reality to us. We realize it's there, but it's not a reality to us. My wife is always thanking me for the little bubble that we have. And she's the social one. She has lots of friends, right? I'm not the social one. I got too much going on just maintaining and loving this family. So, and I don't need it. I'm old now. I'm creepy. Nobody. I got my own ways. As you've seen, I got my own ways of entertaining myself.
So I don't want to turn to the dark conversation or whatever, but Satan is real, and I'm sure you believe that Satan is real. So I want to get your firsthand experience with the demons. Like, what have you learned in the spiritual battle? Because you've gone through some stuff, and
it's all in battle. It's all in the mind. It starts in the mind and it ends in the mind. I don't really know the best way to transition. I know preventative things, but I don't know the best way to get out of it once you're in it, because you just, have you ever played that game where you blindfold someone and try to give them instructions on, right? So I'm going to give you instructions. Okay, so this little game, you blindfold someone and then you give them instructions on how to build like a little box or a chair or something, and they're totally blindfolded, or they have to, put something somewhere, but they can't see, right? So that's the predicament that you'd be in. But the preventive measures for that, catch it before they catch the blindness, catch it before they fall into that outer darkness, right? And the best way I've seen that is through biblical prognosis, biblical proverbial wisdom, the pro before the action, the proverb, right? So if you can do that, if you're seeking wisdom, if you're fearing God, then I think all that's scripted out will keep it. It'll keep it for you. As long as you're walking that way, you can read it, look in a mirror, act like it, you didn't see yourself, because I'm not saying I was ignorant to the script. I told you I lived in a Christian household, right? When I got the sickness, and then I was just like that guy in the Proverbs that said, when I heard wisdom, I wish I would have taken it at the time. Luckily, I said I didn't fall into self-destruction, which I could have easily. But I'm saying that if that's the only thing, is that proverbial wisdom that's going to carry someone through to be the preventive course from. And sometimes people just do it. They're natural. They got common sense, right? I felt like I was just someone that had to play inside of a bonfire to realize that it's just for marshmallows. It's not for humans.
What about a mystical experience that was positive, where you saw Jesus or God spoke to you or touched you or gave you joy or peace or something? Can you talk about a mystical experience you've had? I'm sure you've had one.
Well, there was a time I thought I saw a ghost, right? And I wasn't drunk that night. Right? And I'm being serious with you now. I wasn't drunk that night, but I saw 4 apparitions in my house. This is when everybody left me, like my family left me. I saw 4 apparitions. Right.
Up in North Carolina, you talking?
No, this is in Arkansas.
Okay.
After I got out of the military, when I was having my mental breakdown. So I saw 4 apparitions. They were like clear, translucent, like you could see through them. And they would manipulate things within the room. And I started just this long monologue, just talking to them as if I knew them. Right. Nobody was in the house. It was just me and then whatever I was seeing. Right. And they seem friendly, and then one of them just like seemed so clingy to me. And this one was female, happened to be female, and it wrote something. You know how you can take fabric, and depending on what kind of fabric it is, it'll leave an imprint?
Yeah.
Okay, so on my couch was like that. So it took its finger, and it wrote in an Arabic language. I had no idea what this meant, but 7 years later, I get married, and guess who this lady is? Is a Iranian, a Persian lady. Yeah, so I don't know if that was God saying it's going to be okay. I'm going to put your life back together or not. But I always look back at that and I'm like, that is super weird, super creepy. As far as the comfort that I get, as far as seeing Jesus, I have the script that would describe that for me. If I look at the book of Revelation, everything pertaining within that book, I see all sorts of visions that are in there that are very, very literal visions, and you can conjure up an image for yourself by reading that. I think that's, for me, that's sufficient. I don't want to see. I don't.
Yeah, yeah. What about
I,
what about your dream life at night though?
my dream life, honestly, I'm living the dream. People ask me, how you doing today? I say, I'm spoiled rotten. They're like, what are you talking? Spoiled rotten. Right. I really am. I mean, that is my dream life. I really am.
Yeah.
I got ways to amuse myself that's very educational. I have a good job. It's a respectable job. I'm proud of it. I have a beautiful family, nothing to complain about, a loyal, beautiful wife, a gorgeous daughter, and a grandma who loves us and works her butt off in this house trying to, keep it clean, keep cook food on the table. So she's just fantastic. I mean, to live a dream life, people would pay money for what I have. They would pay money, good money.
Yeah. But you misinterpreted what I meant. I meant
Yeah.
like when you lay down at night and you sleep and you have a nightmare or a good dream or a bad dream. What are your dreams
Oh,
like?
okay. I dream of weird things when I can remember my dream. I can't
Okay.
remember my dream. I had a dream about the CIA chief making a confession of faith on live TV.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. I think I wrote that in my Twitter feed. As I dreamed of CIA chief making a confession of faith on TV. So,
Cool.
just weird stuff. It's like, this has nothing to do in my area of responsibility. Why am I dreaming of that? Right. So I have some strange dreams, latent stuff that comes around. I've dreamed of tragedies before. I've dreamed of family getting hurt or car accidents, stuff like that, and it's just worries that come up sometimes. And we're not a worrisome family here. We're pretty laid back, very very snuggly type family is the best way to explain it. But there are some things that can get into the back of our heads that kind of bother us, and I think that we release those in some way in dreams or
Are you
dreams.
actively preparing for your own eventual death? Like, are you preparing in a Christian way for that, or you're just sort
Well,
of?
I have a life insurance policy, and you wouldn't believe how expensive it is to get one at my age. I never did it before, but I recently took out a life insurance policy for myself. It's about $450,000. It's pretty good for my age, what I get. But yeah, we're always thinking of that for the future. What's going to happen when I'm gone? What's going to happen when my wife's gone? We're always our financial plan is in the hands of a certified financial provider, and they're taking care of everything for us. So if I do live to the ripe old age of retirement, then it's all there for us, and we can live. We also can provide for whoever might need our help as
That's
well.
nice. I might need your help, but
I know people. I can't help you, but I know people.
but what I meant was spiritual preparation. Like, I meant spiritual preparation for getting to
Well, I
heaven.
can live a carefree life because of everything that Christ did, so I don't have to worry about.
Are you once saved, always saved, and you're
Oh,
not? Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
worried at all about ending up in purgatory, much less hell.
No, well, purgatory hasn't been scripted for me
Okay.
as far as when I read the scripture. So,
Okay.
That right there is it. You're working outside the script. Like, if we had to talk about purgatory, we could have fun talking about it.
Yeah.
We could crack a lot of jokes of it. But in all seriousness, is it affecting the way I have my hope in Christ? No, just because there's not enough data out there for it. If there was, then yeah, I would, be making my preparations. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't have enough data as far as the script is. So everything that is outside the script is under consideration to talk about, but it's not under consideration of living it out.
Okay. How many books in your Bible? 66?
Yeah,
We
we
have
got six.
73, so that's why you're missing
Right,
purgatory. You're missing
right,
purgatory.
yeah. If
Because
it were
Luther took the
provided,
books out. He took the books out.
I'm saying, if it were provided for us
I'll
in the way
send you
I've been
one.
raised,
I'll send you one. I'll send you a Catholic Bible.
thank you, thank you.
But no, but I'm just being silly. But
Yeah,
you know, it's a hairy issue. The whole question of the scriptures is a very hairy issue, and I did a whole episode on it. You can watch it if you like, where I undermine the inerrancy of the Bible militant, and I uphold the inerrancy of the Bible triumphant. So
okay,
basically, my idea is that the Bible's up in heaven. It's perfect.
cool.
It's complete. It's infallible.
I like it.
It's
I like
inerrant.
it.
And here below, we've got copies of imperfect manuscripts, and it's a hot mess. And we need to do a lot of scholarship to try to make sure that we have,
Well,
99%
let
accuracy
me
or whatever.
reframe. Let me reframe what you said. So, let's say that we do have uh, something that's so perfect, so pure,
Yeah.
and you put it into the hands of schmoes like me and you, and I'm sitting there reading. And I'm like, hey David, look what I found, and I'm like, you know what? It looks like I was wrong. Dogs are man's best friend. Eve should have been dumped a long time ago. But there is one difference here, David, is that if God told me to name all the animals, since I hate animals, would I have had to name all the animals? Because I'd rather them not be there. Right. So what I'm saying is that we can have something that's so truthful and so pure, yet in our heads is how we interpret
We're
it.
going to
It's not
run
even
with it.
so much. It's not even so much the scholarship
Yeah.
that's in it, because you can have the greatest minds, the greatest proofs out there,
Yeah.
telling you exactly what it means, but somebody's going to say no, it's not what it means.
Yeah.
And they're going to take it off.
Well, because you said at the very beginning of this interview, you said about the poetry. You're not a poet, but you can play
Well,
with.
yeah, when I say poet, that goes back to the original word of what I'm talking about, to be a doer. So poetos, the doer.
Okay.
So you read it and then you do it, right? So how am I doing it?
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I'm going through it. I'm doing it,
I see.
right? So there's lots of things that I will never be able to do nor attain in Scripture, but I don't have to, because like I told you before, it's a book by God for God, so that we might understand His narrative, His work on the planet Earth. And I think if we don't take it upon ourselves so much, and that burden of the law is taken away from us, no, I won't be a lawbreaker, because I know the consequences of reaping and sowing, right? But I also know that my justification wouldn't have to be required based on law. I don't have to go make my animal sacrifices. I don't have to go get circumcised. I don't have to go stone every adulterer that's out there, right? I don't have to do any of that. Jesus did everything. He fulfilled the law and the prophets. So it's a book by God for God, so that we can know His story. That's a gracious thing.
Yeah. So what did you mean when you used the word opine? It's on your website too. Opine. Is that just mean to form an opinion, or does that mean something else?
Well, it's also a Greek word. It's a doxos. It's translated glory.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So the example I use is you see your light, you
Yeah.
see a light bulb, and I say, you give me your opinion on this light, and what are you going to say? It's on. It's bright, right? So that's your opinion. You just opined the light bulb, right?
Okay.
And I say, what is the glory of this light bulb? What are you going to say?
It's light. It's
Same
light.
thing,
Yeah.
right? So when we opine, right, we opine, we glorify, right? And like I said, it comes from the word doxos. Correct opinion is eudoxos. So you got that prefix.
Oops. I think he crapped out again on me here. I know he'll be back. Where was I now? Just gonna scroll through and take a look at some of his stuff here. Screamote control. maybe for the sake of Will, I'll show Mr. Blackface on my profile. There's Mr. Blackface there on my timeline. I just repost stuff that I think is funny. And there's a lot of stuff because a lot of my, what do you call them, friends or whatever on Twitter are Canadian and conservative. They post a lot of funny pictures and a lot of content about Trudeau. Here's Trudeau talking about how he supports the Chinese protesters. Hello,
Hey.
hello, hello, hey.
We're gonna have to go anyway. I promised to give my baby girl her bath.
Yeah, not a problem, my friend, not a problem.
Man, I enjoy talking to you. It's such a relief to get to talk to somebody. I love talking.
Well, someone that's not singing. What's the name of the show that you sing to your child?
Coco Melon.
Coco Melon. I'm gonna have to look that up. If you do watch this back, I just put some pictures of my brave Prime Minister Trudeau on the screen, so you can watch that back and see him wearing his mask and everything. But I didn't get one of blackface on there. But it was really a pleasure meeting you, Will. It was a bit, we had a few interruptions there, so it was a bit scattered, the vibe. But next time, hopefully we'll figure out the technical side and we can just flow uninterrupted a little bit more. And I hope you will come back and just chat to me because you got a lot of ideas. I think you're a very creative, bright guy. And I glorify your light.
Oh, thank you. I wish I had a better camera that could pick up the light better. It's all scratchy. It's never like this. If you watch my teaching lessons that I put up, it's never like this. It's probably because I have better lighting during the daytime when I make them. So
I'll be checking out your content, and we'll keep in touch. I'll try to put some comments on your Twitter feed and stuff like that, and we'll keep in touch and come back anytime, and we'll continue talking about your faith. Okay?
Appreciate it.
God bless you, and please pray for me and mine. Okay?
Always.
Bye. Talk to you soon.